South Korea's impeached President Yoon Suk-Yeol has been sentenced to 5 years for failing to comply with legal process required for martial law, which he declared in December 2024. A Seoul court also found him guilty of obstruction attempts to arrest him, fabricating documents and destroying potential criminal evidence. For more, let's bring in international correspondent Claudia Farhart. Claudia, what was said in court?
Anton, this was just the first in a series of cases relating to Yoon Suk-Yeol's declaration of martial law. But some of the judge's strongest comments today were actually around those obstruction of justice charges. So that's relating to when police first tried to arrest Yoon Suk-Yeol back in early January last year. He barricaded himself inside his residential compound and ordered his security service to block the investigators from reaching him. Police then, on a second attempt, ultimately had to deploy 3,000 individual officers to be able to detain him. Today, the judge in court said in doing that, he effectively turned the security service into his own private force. The judge said he'd shown no attitude of remorse in the months following, and therefore that his culpability was extremely grave in the matter. Prosecutors were originally seeking a 10-year jail sentence. Yoon Suk-Yeol ultimately got half of that today. The judge did note that it is his first offence, but his lawyers, Anton, have already announced their plans to appeal the decision.
As you say there, Claudia, 5 years for this sentence, but this isn't the end of Yoon's legal woes. What comes next?
Yeah, Yoon Suk-Yeol is still facing trial in 7 other cases, some of them relating to the same martial law declaration, but also on allegations of corruption and of violating campaign laws. The most serious of the outstanding charges, though, is the charge of masterminding insurrection. A ruling on that one isn't due until next month, but earlier this week, prosecutors went to the court and asked it to consider the death penalty in that case. It's incredibly rare in South Korea. Nobody's been executed in the country since 1997. So in the almost 30 years since, it's sort of become seen as de facto abolished in South Korea. But prosecutors are arguing that Yoon's actions were so severe and posed such a severe threat to the country that it is warranted here. Analysts, though, aren't exactly convinced that's the path the court is going to want to take. Anton, Yoon Suk-Yeol still has a significant support base in the country, so there would be a very real risk of civil unrest after a sentence like that.
Thanks, Claudia. That's international correspondent Claudia Farhart following developments from Jakarta.